So AMP stands for the Ambassador and Mentor Program. And so AMP is a group of students. We have 12 students this year. They're in grade 11 and 12, and they're students who we've identified as strong leaders. And the goal of it is really found in the name. They're ambassadors of London Christian High, and they're also student mentors, mentoring students from like, where's the bathroom? Where's my class? To how do I deal with all this homework? Basically coming alongside students who are new to the community, welcoming them in, and helping them understand some of the key values of our school as well.
So my name is Phoebe, and I'm a student at LCH, and I'm in grade 9. At the beginning of school, grade 9s all got helped with by the AMP leaders. We did a couple activities, got to know our class. I found it really nice and helpful because it was really welcoming, it was comforting, like everyone felt comfortable to just share their experience with like their past grade school, and you got to get to know a little bit more about the other students you're going to start high school with.
Before this year, a lot of things like grade 9 orientation or grade 8 day would be primarily run by staff, which is great, and we have a very welcoming staff, but we wanted that to be extended to students, so that when someone is new to the school, they're not just welcomed by their teacher, but they're also welcomed by peers and other students in the school. Students now are shaped by so many different things every day, and so it's important as a school that we're intentional about building into leaders who can then build into other students and help shape the way our culture is here at school. So that when someone joins the community, they don't know what's right or wrong or what we do based on what a teacher tells them, but also just based on observing other students, observing the leaders in the school and how they act and how they conduct themselves. We also want students in AMP to experience an understanding of themselves as leaders. So we recently had a leadership retreat where many of our leaders took a deeper look at themselves and understanding that they're created uniquely and that not every leader, not every member of AMP is going to lead in the same way. And so being able to understand that allows them to bless the school community beyond just a cookie cutter model of leadership.
We got together in the morning with just the AMP leaders, and we basically just talked about like what it's like to be a leader, why we are leaders, and what makes a person a leader. And we actually did have a lot of fun talking about that and getting to know each other a bit more through that. And then after lunch, we had a bunch of other students from the school who kind of stood out as leaders. They all came as well, and we just did a bunch of group activities that kind of like showed us what it's like to be a leader, and kind of like pointed out the specific leaders we have in the groups. And yeah, it was a lot of fun.
We also learned a little bit more about ourselves, and it kind of gave an opportunity to express an opinion. Like, I didn't realize the thoughts I had until that came, and I got to just express myself freely, and I found it really nice. And it was definitely important because it really made me realize what I thought about how everything was working so far. It was just a good chance to just, express your opinions.
I learned at the retreat that being a leader doesn't mean you are like the main person and like the center of attention. It can be done in many different ways, and it can be done without people noticing, but that's okay. And I think that can be brought anywhere you go in life. Like, no matter like how small the thing you are doing, it's implementing or it's impacting the world in some way. And just like noting that and really embracing that is a cool concept. Another
really important part of AMP is just the hospitality, the welcoming of new people to this community. And so a really important part of it is that there's intentional thought and conversation put into that. So before a student even comes on the first day of school, as an AMP group, we're meeting in the summer discussing how can we make sure that these students feel connected and feel part of the community. And so we're not just dropping people into the community and hoping that there's going to be connections made. There's intention through grade 9 orientation, even things as small as making sure that students are put in groups from people outside of their own elementary school community, making sure that they can build connections with people from other schools. I recently actually at the leadership retreat spoke with 2 grade 9 girls, and they said that was one of their favorite parts about AMP this year, was being able to be in a group with people who they didn't go to elementary school with, and and start to build connections and recognize that we're not all from different communities now. We're all a part of the LCH community, and so AMP's goal is to make that transition as smooth and as quick as possible. And so when someone joins the community, very quickly, they're no longer new to the community, they're just a part of the community.
The biggest takeaway is like what it means to be a Christian leader, and like how we can relate our leadership skills to what God has given us, and how He does give us spiritual gifts, and sometimes they come on later, but they will always be there for us to use, and we can use it for good or for bad, but they're always there for us to use, and most of the time they will help us be a leader and become a better version of ourselves.